overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 Tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 Tour.
It's time! Let's go!
Bain drives.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jaron with a knock-in.
Good defense!
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go! Let's go!
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum. We're in downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I sure hope you didn't think all the serious injuries were in the rearview mirror for your Memphis Grizzlies, because we found out last night that's not true. Good news, nice victory in Charlotte. Ja Morant, excellent. Zach Edey, excellent. Bad news, Jaylen Wells has suffered a broken wrist, and if you saw it live and experienced the real fear that was connected to the whole moment, broken wrist doesn't sound as bad as some of the things we could theoretically be talking about today. Still, you never want to lose a starter this deep into any season. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment around 10:20, Chris Vernon is going to join me. He, of course, is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. It's Masters Update. I'll ask him if he's ready, and if he's not, I'll get him ready. He's going to be in studio with me. We'll do it in about 20 minutes. Finish talking to Vernon, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Memphis guard PJ Haggerty reportedly has multiple offers in the range of $3 million to play college basketball next season. Can the Tigers keep him? We'll discuss it in about 40 minutes. I debuted Houston at number 1 in the CBS Sports preseason top 25 and 1 on Tuesday afternoon. A few hours later, they got better. I'll tell you how and why. We'll do that a little later on in the show. Movie theaters are already warning folks planning to see the new Minecraft film that they better chill or else they'll be removed for trying to go viral on social media. I'll get our resident film connoisseur, Big Bet Bennett, to explain what all this is about. We'll do that in just a bit. The ratings for the women's Final Four are in. Turns out they really miss Caitlin Clark. I'll give you the numbers in the second hour. And a single-A baseball team has set a minor league record. It's not a good one. I'll tell you what happened during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 79 of a scheduled 82, it was played last night in Charlotte. The visitors won. Final score, Grizzlies 124, Hornets 100. That's the good news. That's the good news. And I wish all we had was good news, but the not so good news is that in the second quarter, while attempting a transition dunk, Grizz rookie Jaylen Wells was fouled by Charlotte's Xavier, not Xavier Simpson, KJ Simpson. Dangerous play. It was a scary result. Jaylen was knocked off balance midair. He landed awkwardly. He landed hard. He was removed from the court on a stretcher, taken to a local hospital. Diagnosis is a broken right wrist. No announcement yet, but it is reasonable to assume he is done for the season. Rough stuff. We'll discuss what it means for the Grizzlies, Bennett. But first, just what did you think when you saw him lying there on the hardwood and you realize, buddy, he ain't getting up? This is getting scary.
Yeah, I mean, it was scary when the medical team came out and immediately started signaling for, like, the stretcher to come out. That's when you're like, oh, God, this is really bad. Because, I mean, typically when guys fall hard, like, you'll sit there with them. You'll try to, see if they're okay, if they could sit up, that kind of thing. They were, like, immediately like, no, come out. So that was scary. Yeah.
I think they probably recognized we have a wrist issue pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then you're just, what else is there? Did he hit his head?
Yeah, and you could see, like, in the picture of, like, he's got a cut on his head, he's got a busted lip, like he was pretty banged up.
It was violent.
Yeah.
It was a violent basketball play, but I don't think intentional. Did you?
Okay, here's what I thought. I think it's regretful on KJ Simpson's part. I don't think, like, I think if he could go back, he obviously would not have done that. I think that's one of those situations where you're a bad team, you're going nowhere right now, and this team, we're coming in here running it up on you. Like, it's the game was over immediately, right? Like, did you ever once think the Grizzlies had any chance of losing that game? It was over quickly.
I mean, not since the moment I woke up yesterday.
Right. It was over quickly. And so it's just like one of those things, like, we really going to let this rookie, like, just, run a layup line on us? And again, like, I don't think it was intentional, but it's just one of those bad decisions that you make. It's the dark side of tanking, frankly.
This is the dark side of tanking.
Yeah.
You might be right. The way it looked to me, you might be right. The way it looked to me was that he was going to try to chase him down, right? Mm-hmm. And try to block the shot.
Yeah.
And then at some point realized he's not going to get there and almost like tried to stop. And then it just got awkward, like clumsy. Mm-hmm. He just got, it's like, I'm going to try to block this. No, I'm not. And now then you make contact. And anytime you hit somebody who's midair like that, there is a potential for something bad to happen. I don't think he was trying to knock him midair, though. I think he got caught in between decisions in a millisecond type of thing. And his body got awkward and clumsy, and it led to what it led to. But you could see it on his face, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You see this. Like Isaiah Stewart does that to you, he probably doesn't even blink. Mm-hmm. He just turns around and walks away. Draymond Green does that to you. He might not even blink. You could see KJ Simpson was upset.
Absolutely.
And those two guys, they know each other. They both played. They're both rookies who played in the Pac-12 last season. So they know each other. And obviously you feel sick for Jaylen, but I felt sick for him too because it looked like that. It looked like it affected him. It reminded me of every once in a while, you'll see it in baseball. You'll see a pitcher throw at a hitter for any number of reasons, but then every once in a while, a fastball just gets away from a guy, and there's no intent behind it at all. He just loses it, and it tells on him, and boom.
It's a good comp.
And you see the pitcher like upset, visibly upset, like, did I just hurt somebody? Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just out here trying to play. That is not what I was trying to do. That's what KJ Simpson looked like to me last night. Yes, it's a dangerous play, and he had to be ejected, and you don't want that in the sport. And if there's an additional penalty, I guess I won't stand up and object, but I also don't need it. I don't need to see him get suspended for 2 games or 10 games or anything like that. I don't think there was any ill intent behind it. I just think it was a weird basketball play that got away from him and he got clumsy, and the byproduct is really, really ugly. As you see there, he posted last night on social media addressing it. Those are nice words, and I find them to be sincere.
I do too.
Those words match what I saw on his face. Those words match everything I saw last night on camera. And he did also arena and said something to him, which I'm sure, like, I'm sorry, or, I'm praying for you, or whatever it would have been. But he seemed, that didn't look like somebody who was like, all right, you think you're running it up on me? Well, here's this. That didn't look like that to me. It looked like,
fair enough.
It looked like somebody was upset that he had caused a pretty scary situation. So it's a broken right wrist.
And a big loss.
I mean, that's
your best perimeter defender. I mean, I know that might sound weird to people. That's your best perimeter defender right now. I mean, unless you want to call Jaren that, because he gets out, past 3-point line. But
well, I'll just keep this simple.
Yeah.
Like, he's appeared in 79 games.
Yeah.
He started 74 of them. He takes on the toughest assignment, typically.
Yes.
And there has been plenty of time for somebody to take that job if they were going to take it.
That's right.
I don't think there is any scenario where that front office and that coaching staff thought Jaylen Wells was going to be starting game 79 of this season.
Right.
He wasn't supposed to be a starter, and he certainly wasn't supposed to continue to be a starter. I don't know if anybody will ever say that, but I'm telling you. He was never supposed to be a starter, and once he became a starter out of necessity, he was never supposed to keep the job. So any conversation about how big of a loss is this for the Grizzlies has to start right there. This guy became a starter out of necessity. But Marcus Smart can never take his job. Vince Williams has not taken his job. Luke Kennard's not taking his job. Nobody's taking his job.
Nope.
That's a big loss.
It's a big loss. And again, I'm just, I'm sick for him because I know that he wasn't going to win Rookie of the Year, but there was times during the season when he was at the top of the leaderboard for potential Rookie of the Year honors.
Sure.
Like, he was having a really good year. I know that, up and down, obviously, you haven't been as good lately as at the beginning of the year, but he's a rookie second-round pick, like you said. So I hope the recovery's quick. He's a guy, too, that I think is going to be really, that's just an important role guy that you need on your team, especially, on a rookie deal going forward. He's an important piece, man.
Yeah, and he will be an important piece going forward, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be in this season.
Right.
And so now just think about what the roster looked like, I don't know, a day before the trade deadline and what it looks like now. There was a scenario where you're heading into the playoffs and Marcus Smart's an option, Brandon Clark's an option, Jaylen Wells is an option. Now none of them are for different reasons.
Yeah. Marcus sounds great right now.
And Ja was asked about it in the postgame last night. I don't know if you saw the video, but it almost looked like he got the news from the media. That he
broke his wrist?
Yeah. It almost looked like on his face, like he didn't know that.
Because I think Shams put it out around the end of the game or a little after the game that he had. I think that was the first report of it, that he had the broken wrist. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like they said, he's now got a broken wrist. And you could see on Ja's face, he looked surprised by that. He didn't know it. And then he just sort of said, we're going to keep praying for him and we're going to be there for him. But, there is a next man up thing to this. And I assume that's Vince Williams. Do you assume Vince Williams is next man up?
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be. He's had his struggles. There's no doubt about it. But just by process of elimination, it's got to be him. He wasn't great again last night, but he came in and hit a couple threes. He was 2 of 5 from 3. I think if you can get 2 3-pointers a game from Vince Williams Jr., like that 2 of 5 range, that's pretty good, especially if he's just your lockdown defensive guy. Now, he's got to be that. He is that in our minds right now. He has not been that this season at all.
He's not been
He's
good.
got to get back to being that.
Again, ideally, what would have happened at some point in this season is Vince would have been so awesome or closer to what he was last season that he would have moved into the starting lineup and you have Jaylen Wells coming off of your bench. That's ideal. It never happened.
No.
Because he hasn't been good. But what you hope is Now he will be. What you hope is things can get better from here. I don't want to lie to you. None of this is good. There's nothing good about Jaylen Wells having a broken wrist other than it's not a broken neck. You know? There's nothing good about this. But if you want to try to, I don't know, focus on some positives, it is possible that when the Grizzlies open the playoffs, the starting lineup will be this: Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Vince Williams, Jaren Jackson, Zach Edey.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of people who cover this team, plenty of people who follow the NBA, who would have told you in the preseason that is the Grizzlies' best starting lineup.
Yep, that's the lineup.
That can still be
Here
the
we
starting
are.
lineup.
Yep.
There are plenty of people who would have told you before this thing ever got started, plenty of people who would have told you at Media Day when we were all sitting down in the practice facility, that ultimately the best starting lineup the Grizzlies are going to throw out there is going to be those 5 players. And those 5 players can be the starting lineup in game 1 of any playoff series. Or, God forbid, we end up in the play-in and you got to do that.
Yeah.
That can still be the starting lineup. Now, back then we also would say things like, but you might close with Brandon Clark. Well, we ain't closing with Brandon Clark anymore, right? And obviously, on Media Day, we had no idea Jaylen Wells would even be a relevant player.
Right.
Most people assumed he'd be more prominent with maybe the hustle than the Grizzlies. Nobody saw this coming. But he did emerge as an important piece.
Yeah.
And now he's not going to be there, and that stinks.
I think, too, it's an important stretch for Gigi, who has also not played well at all, just because the minutes are going to be there. Like, you're going to have an opportunity to get minutes. I mean, I think that's been the issue with him, right, is the inconsistency. He's just having trouble fitting into his role, which people thought that could be an issue coming back from the injury coming into this season.
Well, it's just the way he played last season was never going to be the way he was going to be asked to play this season.
That's right.
You know, he was on all those, he's the first, teenager to do this since Kobe and to do that since Kobe. Well, when Ja Morant and Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. are all healthy, nobody needs you to take Kobe shots anymore. And yeah, it's been an adjustment. He, like Vince, has been, let's just be honest with each other, disappointing. Both of those guys had encouraging seasons last season under less than ideal circumstances. If you were hoping they would take that next step this season, there's still time, but it hadn't happened yet, right? It hadn't happened yet. But yeah, now not everybody, but people who were going to have lesser roles from this point forward are going to have bigger roles now.
Yep.
Because 2 guys who were going to have big roles undeniably are no longer available. Brandon Clark and now Jaylen Wells. As for the game, 24-point win, like you said, that's what you're supposed to do to that team under these circumstances where every game is massive. You just got to go out and pound them like you did, and they handled that no problem. Ja was great, 10 of 21 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3, 28 points, 8 assists in 3 games this month. He's now averaging 31.3 points, 5.7 assists, 4.3 rebounds, shooting 53.8% from the field and 48% from 3. And even before the calendar turned to April, he was already playing some of the best basketball of his career. Last night, we got more of that. Great sign, obviously.
And I loved his approach. Like, he came out and scored the first bucket, and, like, he established that thing. Like, he came out and was like, all right, we're winning this game. I'm going to go off here early. Then I'm going to get my teammates involved.
He was terrific.
Yeah,
He's been terrific. He was terrific. That is the Ja Morant you need heading into this postseason. Zach Edey, 17 points, 19 rebounds.
Awesome.
Since the coaching change, now averaging 9.8 points, 13.7 rebounds, basically a double-double. He's grabbed 40 rebounds in 60 minutes over the past 2 games. He's been unlocked by the coaching change.
No question.
We can argue forever about whether the coaching change should have happened when it did, blah, blah, blah. It's undeniable that Zach Edey has benefited from the coaching change. He's been awesome and emphasized in different ways and in more obvious ways. And the byproduct is he is doing what you would hope he would do when you spend a top 10 pick on him. Again, averaging basically a double-double since the coaching change, 40 rebounds over the past 2 games. The Grizz, again, are now 47-32. That's the exact same record as the Clippers, Nuggets, and Warriors. They're tied for 4th in the West. It's actually a 4-way tie for 4th.
Oh, my God.
4-way tie for 4th in the West. And if you're interested in these types of, computer projections, ESPN's model now gives the Grizzlies a 48.4 percentage chance to make the top 6 of the Western Conference standings. It's got their projected seed right now at 6.5. So, it's right there. It is basically a coin flip in this moment, whether or not the Grizzlies will finish in the top 6 and avoid the play-in, or finish outside of the top 6 and have to participate in the play-in. All of this stuff is obviously going to be settled over the next 3 games. And, buddy, we got a big one tomorrow night inside FedEx Forum.
It's the biggest of the 3.
Just because it's home and it's a team that's right there fighting with you.
Yeah, and if you win this one against them, they can't pass you.
Right.
So you eliminate them essentially from the conversation as far as you go in the standings.
And this is one of those. These are the types of games I love. We spend so much time in the regular season with it being de-emphasized. It's de-emphasized by players. It's de-emphasized by franchises. It's de-emphasized by front offices. I mean, we are talking about a league where they will actually tell you the most important thing is not to finish 1st or 2nd or 3rd in your conference. There is no other sport I follow where people don't care about winning their conference,
right?
or their division or their league or whatever. Like in the NFL, you never really hear the Dolphins say, "Yeah, we're not really trying to finish 1st." It's unique to the NBA, best I can tell. But we are now at a point where, however you think about an 82-game NBA regular season, undeniably, these games are massive, and all franchises are taking them seriously, at least the franchises that are still jockeying for position. So it's not just you and I and John Morant and Jaren Jackson talking about this as a massive game tomorrow night. You know who else is saying it? Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley.
Yep.
And Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. It's a massive game for both sides. Massive game for both sides. National television, TNT, 8:30 tip. Tickets available. Grizzlies.com. Chris Vernon in studio next.
New issue of Slam, the cover dropped, and it is our friend Jaren Jackson Jr. on the cover.
And shout out to you, Lane.
Yeah.
You kept. Well, I mean, we knew about it, but you kept this a secret the whole time.
Yeah.
So shout out to you for
I wrote
putting
this story.
together.
We did the photo shoot a couple weeks ago here on a Sunday afternoon in the practice court. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Chris Vernon is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He joins me on Wednesdays in studio when I happen to be in town. I'm in town. He's in town.
You're in town forever.
I'm in town forever.
Forever.
I'm in town for a while. It's nice to be here. I'm going to be seeing you face to face a lot.
Man, I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad I'm
Your
back,
season's
too.
finally over.
Woohoo! Woohoo! I tell you, my favorite day of every year is the Tuesday after the national championship game. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy the journey and I don't have a blast doing what I do, but there's something nice about just getting back home and not knowing you don't have to leave for a minute.
And then this weekend we have the Masters. Next weekend we got WrestleMania. It's like
it's a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
And we've got the end of the NBA regular season, and then the playoffs will be going on by next weekend as well.
This is a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be alive. How scary last night, the Jaylen Wells situation. Here's how it happened for me. As I told Jessica earlier, my flight departed San Antonio like 6:23. And you know, because you and I have talked about this, I think the last time you went to New York. I love Delta, but the planes they use for the Memphis to LaGuardia directs are got to be the worst planes they have. All right, the Wi-Fi stinks. There's no televisions. It is bare minimum, right?
You better have everything downloaded.
So I have a whole phone of downloaded stuff. So I'm so used to just taking that flight, it never even occurs to me to attempt to stream a game because it just would never work. So I get on the plane last night, and a gentleman right in front of me had, watches the show, listens to us, all that stuff. He turned around and introduced himself and was really nice. And so then we take off, and it's the world. Again, it doesn't even occur to me to try to stream the game because I never can.
Right.
And he turns around and he goes, "Did you see Jaylen?" And I'm like, "What?" I don't even really, I'm like in my own world. He's like, "Jaylen." I'm like, "Jaylen Wells?" He's Jaylen Wells? Yeah. It's like, "What?" And he's like, "They're carrying him out on a stretcher." What? And he's streaming the game, watching live. So then I pull it up because I realized this plane's got incredible Wi-Fi. And, buddy, he wasn't moving.
It's crazy because much like you had that experience, I had an experience last night that was crazy. So the game started at 6 o'clock, so it was an early game.
Right.
So I had to take my daughter to her soccer game last night. And so I have it pulled up, and I just run Pete and Brevin through my Bluetooth in my car. And then if anything happens, I can look at it, flash to the phone, right? And so anyways, we get there. She has to be at the game 30 minutes early. So that's like basically 6:45. We've got to get to the game. So I drop her off at her field, and then I go and try to find a parking spot. And then I just sat in my car. So I'm just watching the game on my phone. And then by the time that had all settled and they had like resumed play, which was near halftime, I walked up to her game, and immediately people could tell, like, I was shook up, like legitimately shaken, because at that point, you don't know what's going on. I'm like, you're never going to believe this, because, I mean, a lot of the parents are Grizzlies fans as well. I was like, I was just watching the game in my car. There has been a massive delay. Obviously, Pete and Brevin are talking their way through it, but that was, I mean, so intensely scary because you don't know. Anytime you see the medics come out, a stretcher come out, like, obviously, it's human nature to think of, like, what could this be? Yeah. What could be wrong with him? And I was so terrified because it looked like he landed on his head. I'm like, oh, my God, please don't be paralyzed or something even worse. Obviously, it's terrible what's happened to him, but that could have been
This is what I said.
Tragic.
If you would have told me yesterday morning Jaylen Wells is going to break his wrist tonight, I would have said, ugh. If you would have paused it last night while he was laying on that court and said, it's going to be a broken wrist, nothing more, okay, I'll take that.
No. I mean, and again, you're bracing yourself. He's the sweetest kid on earth, and you're bracing yourself like, oh my God, did I just witness this incredible tragedy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, your head goes to some bad places.
And your career could be taken away from you. Like, there's a million things, right? He's laying there, like, and it appears to be that they can't, they're having to put him on a stretcher.
And
you're not getting up on your own power here.
And you're watching the other players.
Right.
And, like, I know Miles Bridges is the
They're all
devil,
distraught.
but, like, Miles Bridges is on a knee praying.
That's right.
Like, everybody was pretty, just
That
like
was
you.
Scary, man.
It was scary.
Scary. And obviously, it was the best thing ever for his dad to respond on Twitter first, gave everybody hope that, that this is not something that is going to be a tragedy or life-threatening or life-altering.
Right.
Are the things that run through your mind. And then, obviously, his Instagram last night. It was great. It was great. And he's in his uniform, too.
I love never taking the jersey off.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it was super cool. And it just made everybody feel good that it's like, okay, like this is awful, but this is also going to be okay.
It'll be okay.
In the long run.
In the long run. But in the short term,
it sucks.
We're going to have to play the postseason. I know there's no official announcement. I'll be shocked if he plays basketball again before next season.
There's no chance.
Right.
He's got a broken wrist.
Right. I know.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get out in front of any news, but like
this is the and look, and we've talked about it this year. We have to have last year's Vince Williams.
Yes.
And that can happen. Over the history of the Grizzlies, we have seen many, many times where guys, by virtue of sometimes it's injury, sometimes it's forced their way into the lineup, whatever the case may be. We have seen guys get emboldened and empowered by having that kind of A, responsibility, and B, guaranteed playing time.
Yeah.
And Vince Williams has to, like, there's no opportunity for the short leash, right? There is no opportunity for the short leash. Like, I'll give you another example. Like, I mean, people right now, and I think in fairness, I think Coach Tomas, in his time that he has taken over, has done a very good job. But you're seeing a lot of, see what Tomas has done for Edey, which is, on some level, true, okay? The biggest level is, he doesn't have a choice in the matter.
Right.
We don't have anybody else to, like, he has to be good.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Vince Williams now has to be good. And there is an empowerment that goes along with that, right? Well, we have seen it many times in the past with players, like whether it's DeAnthony Melton or Tony Allen, on and on and on.
Draymond Green in Golden State.
Yeah, we have seen it.
Well, let's put it in normal people terms. Imagine you do your job. You're hosting a show. You host shows. This is what you do.
Yep.
But your boss has told you, hey, some days you're going to host, some days you're not.
Right.
We'll figure it out as we go. We'll let you know. You're like, what's going on here? And then suddenly it's just like the other option is no longer there, and it's just like, hey, this is your deal now.
That's right.
This is yours now.
That's it.
And
that is the thing that's going to happen, and that's why I got my fingers crossed. Right. I've loved Vince Williams, that this can be the time where it's like, look, bro, you've got to, like, this is you.
Hey, you want this?
Your time to shine.
Because you never know if he's been, I'm sure he's been frustrated behind the scenes because of the injuries, but maybe also frustrated because he hadn't got what he thought he was going to be.
That's right. He doesn't get the job because a rookie's got the job, right?
All right. Well, now it's yours.
That's it. And so you've got to be what DeAnthony Melton once was, what Tony Allen once was, what these guys, that we have seen this a lot in the past. What Shane Battier became for the Grizzlies once they attained him because Rudy Gay was out. Like, that small forward role, interestingly enough, has had this happen before, and you've got to be able to take the reins because we don't have another option. We can't have Kennard out there. Right? So you're Vince or Gigi. You don't have another option. Just like, on the Edey front, like, bro, this is the best thing ever for Edey to be as dominant as he has been because there is no other option. Like, unless you want to tell me you want to put Jay Huff in, nobody wants to do that. Unless you want to go small and then move Jaren over to center, right, to play along Santi or Gigi. Right. And that gets dicey. So it's like, in the absence of Brandon Clark, right, your second best option to go with the big pairing has been has been hurt, and that pairing with him and Santi don't work real well.
Right.
So now it's like, all right, now you're, and the same thing goes. Like Luke Kennard is. Luke Kennard's got to find himself too.
Right.
Like
My
those,
God.
you are now putting a massive onus on those two wings because you don't have anything else to do. And if you're trying to defend somebody, like that's the thing. The biggest piece you miss with Wells is that perimeter defense.
Sure.
Right? He's the guy that he's going to. I'll give you for example. Tomorrow night, can't put Luke Kennard on Anthony Edwards.
No. Right.
I mean, you can,
But
I mean, you're going to lose by 100.
That's right. Right.
Right? Like, it can't be.
And that's where
so you have to have Vince Williams. Like, your time is now, bro.
And that is where this becomes an issue. Like, theoretically, it's like, okay, slide Vince Williams into this thing. This is your job now. And like I said earlier, on opening day of this season, there were smart basketball people who would say things like, I don't know how they're going to start, but by the end of this thing, that starting lineup's going to be Ja, Dez, Vince, Jaren, and Zach Edey. Well, that's where we're at. The problem becomes you move Vince Williams from the bench to the starting lineup. Now, who's that Vince Williams role?
Right.
Who's the Brandon Clark role? It does start the numbers.
Yeah.
2 days before the trade deadline, there were at least 3 players who you thought would be available in your rotation
Honestly,
who are no longer going to be a part of your rotation.
And I think that what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with Vince Williams in there.
Right.
And then I think you're going to end up with Scottie Pippen playing off the bench. You're going to end up with Santi Aldama playing off the bench. And you're going to end up with Luke Kennard playing off the bench. And then everybody else's spot.
That's right.
That's going to be your 8.
And
it's got to be good enough.
And all of us who have wanted starter minutes to go up,
Yep.
they are going up.
And your backup perimeter defender is going to be Pippen.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Like, you don't have anybody else.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like we were talking about on the big front. You don't have anybody else.
Right.
Like, so, look, and there is something that comes with if you know you're going to get to play 30 minutes, you are empowered. Like, the longer that leash gets, the better it can make players. I've seen it 100 times. And we are seeing it with Zach. There's no question, right? He ain't got to worry about playing 12 minutes. Bro, we can't play you 12 minutes. Well, he knows that. Everybody knows that.
I bet you anything Vince Williams shows up to work today with a different...
Of course he will.
With a different vibe.
Of course he will.
Right. It changes everything because now you know this is mine. I don't have to sit here and be frustrated. It's mine.
Right.
Go do it.
Right.
Yeah, I bet you he's walking around with a different vibe right now, and you hope that it translates to the court. Talk to me about the Mike Malone firing in Denver.
First of all, Michael. He gets very mad when you call him Mike, and he is not the kind of guy to be trifled with, obviously. From everything I gather and everything I read and from people I've talked to, it sounds to me, and this is where it's a little different than obviously what happened here. It sounds to me that those guys were in fights all the time.
Right.
And so you have two different sides that are fighting all the time, and now you have an owner that thinks this is unhealthy for everybody. To hell with both of you.
Right.
We'll just clean house. You guys can't get on the same page. You guys can't get along. I'm not choosing between one or the other of you. You're both impossible. Bye. Right. And obviously, it's a tale as old as time when it comes to these old school coaches. I covered it here with a lot of different people, right? Where for every coach, generally, up until I would say Fizdale, kind of to his detriment in some ways, and obviously Taylor had like tremendous fights with the front office about who to utilize and who to be playing, right? They always want, a front office always wants you to develop the talent so that they can say, hey,
look at we did this great draft.
So obviously you've got the whole, and then, what happened there was you had these veteran guys. You had, Jeff Green, and you had Bruce Brown, you had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and you had that whole group. And so what the GM decides is, I'm so good at drafting, right? I've drafted the replacements in Christian Brown and Peyton Watson and Julian Strother and Jalen Pickett and on down.
But then Malone wouldn't play him.
Right. And so, what do? You cleared it out. Right. You cleared it out, and you said, all right, now I'm going to give you no choice in the matter. Right. And he still made choices as to not do what you wanted him to do. Right?
Wasn't that
he's trying to win that night?
Refresh my memory.
Care.
Wasn't that part of the narrative connected to the Nuggets postseason last season? Like the problem is Michael Malone didn't spend enough time developing the young guys throughout the regular season, and now you pay him for it.
Right. And so now, and again, this is your old school. You don't see as many of these anymore because what's typically happened is you've got these front offices that handpick a guy that is going to do their bidding. That sounds bad. Not do their bidding, but we're all arm in arm.
Yeah.
We've all got the same goal.
We all have the same viewpoint.
So we understand,
that's right.
and that's what I said. And that's always fine until shit goes wrong. Right? It's always fine until it's not.
Right.
And then, we can be arm in arm. We can all be sitting in a room, and we can say, look, we understand that it's not the best option for tonight. It might not be an option for next week or 3 weeks down the road. But start Zaire Williams.
Right.
Because we think he could pay dividends at the end of the season.
That's right.
And if you lose games because we're doing this, you're not in jeopardy. Everything's fine, right? And then everybody can walk arm in arm. And so if it's not the most successful way to win the game that night, that's okay because we're doing it for the greater good, right? And once upon a time, like this is the kind of discussion that was had in Sacramento once upon a time where a guy walks in, and interestingly enough, a guy that's now on our team in Marvin Bagley. And they said to Dave Yeager, look, tonight's game, right? Like he didn't believe them that tonight's game doesn't matter. So I'm playing Bielitsa over Marvin Bagley. End of story. Right? I don't care about developing your guy. You're going to fire me if I don't win. And so there's a lot of guys, especially, and so now that's the hard part is getting somebody on your page and convincing them that like, hey man, we're all in this together. Because what happens is as soon as it doesn't go the right way, then everybody starts saying, man, are you all in it together still?
Because the front office will say, hey, play Zaire Williams or whatever it is. But it ain't the front office having to answer questions after every game. It's you having to answer why. Like it ain't Chris Vernon come on and being like, why is the front office playing Zaire Williams? It's why is the staff playing? And and that's when it gets complicated because your instincts are to say, I don't want to play him.
Oh no, and I've had a bunch of look. I would say, forget Sydney because he was not here that long. Hubie, Fratello. Certainly Lionel, Yeager, every one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I had big fights at the front office.
Yes.
Over players.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I got yelled at by Hubie Brown over Mike Miller and Bonzi Wells. Over that. That was of Jerry West, Hubie Brown. Mike Fratello didn't want to play Rudy Gay. You know what I mean? I mean, it was... it was a war. Lionel Hollins was the champagne taste on a beer budget. Right? And then you have, they went and acquired Ed Davis, and Ed Davis walks into the gym and he goes, you're not as big as I thought you were. He didn't want any part of it. He was mad about it. Right? He was mad about it. He was mad that we even had him on the team. It took him out, poor guy. I saw Eddie D. Eddie D was here.
I forgot about him body shaming Ed Davis.
Eddie D was here for Tony's retirement thing. It was hilarious.
That was cool.
It was cool. Anyways, and then obviously with Yeager, I mean, Dave Yeager, there was a huge, if you remember at the time, fans were like, play Jordan Adams, play Russ Smith, play, you know what I mean? You remember that whole thing? Like, that happened.
No.
And it was like, bro, I'm not playing friggin' Jordan Adams. I didn't care about Jordan Adams. You trying to win. You know what I mean? That's what. And again,
and
it's
also
like
you never
serving two masters is okay if you're all in lockstep. But as soon as you start losing and the owner starts going, "Oh, what the hell's going on here?" They say, "I don't know. This guy."
You also never know how it's going to impact your locker room because if the front office is saying we need you to develop players, like Jaren Jackson's like, I just want to win this game, You know?
Yes.
And I'm not saying Jaren Jackson says that, but you get the point.
Absolutely.
So it can get complicated.
Sometimes the best thing that can happen is you're out of options.
There you go.
And I will say this. Our team is out of options. We have no options.
We know who's playing now.
We know who's playing, bro. You ain't got to worry about your favorite big guy playing. You ain't got to worry about your favorite wing playing. You ain't got, unless, Tomas goes off the reservation and decides that John Conjar needs. I mean, they have thinned it out,
right?
But not by like because with Clark and with now Jaylen going out.
Right.
Like, this is who, it's like he should walk out like, was it Gene Hackman in Hoosiers? This is my team.
My team's on the floor.
My team's on the floor. my team's on the floor. Because I ain't got anybody else. What do you want me to do? Put in John Conjar? Cam Spencer? I mean, I got Jay Hoff. Who do you want me to?
So
it is kind of funny when it's a great spot to be in if you're a coach.
Right.
What do you mean you want me to play? There is nobody else to play.
Right. We all know who's playing going forward. Timberwolves coming in town tomorrow. What happened to them last night? My God.
Buddy, that was crazy. Kevin Porter Jr. happened to him.
40-13 in the fourth?
In a must-win.
Yes.
In a must-win. Unbelievable. I mean, that's one of those. The same way that we are going to look at that 3-game losing streak that we lost 3 at the buzzer.
Right.
The New York, San Antonio, Atlanta, those ones is the same way that Minnesota is going to look back at that. Like, no matter. Now again, they control their own destiny as well. But I mean, they would have really controlled their own destiny if they were able to take care of business against the Bucks last night. And so that was manna from heaven for the Grizzlies. If you've got an opportunity to not have to be playing in the play-in, or at worst, getting to host, the play-in game, which would be, and that's gonna look. Obviously, none of us want to be in a play-in situation. The goal is to be able to get to 6, which they still can, and they do control their own destiny when it comes to that. If you were at 7, it is not the absolute worst thing in the world if you're having to draw from a hat and Houston would be your first-round opponent, right? It is the worst thing in the world if Oklahoma City is.
Yeah, you don't want to play that.
No, you don't want any part of that.
No. Right.
But Houston-Memphis would be a great series. We have played wars with them
I would
this year.
take it in a second. We've never had a playoff series
would be
against
the
them,
most.
have we?
Those have been amazing games this year.
Yeah.
That's the fake timeout. That's the at the end. I mean, that's all right. Like, then the timeout that was called, that they didn't call timeout. Then you had like the Fred VanVleet miss at the buzzer, and we have played fun games with them, like wars. And so, again, it's not the worst thing in the world if that were to take place. But you want to be able to look. If you get to that point, you want to be able to host that play-in game. You got a lot better chance at winning a play-in game that you host than winning a play-in game on the road.
Like you said, it wouldn't theoretically be the worst thing in the world to fall to it and then be the 7th seed. But once you fall to it, and then you're a turned ankle away from. That's right. Now you lose a game, and now you lose another one, and now it's over. And now just finish in the top 6. And quite literally, the Grizzlies' odds to finish in the top 6 improved when the Timberwolves collapsed in the fourth quarter last night.
Well, they totally control their own destiny, right? Like, you look at the numbers right now. These other teams, you have a chance to get to 50. You have a chance to get to 50 wins. Now, I got it. You're probably walking into hell for that Friday game in Denver, right? So, let's just say 49, right? But if you can beat Minnesota and you can beat Dallas, you can get yourself 49 wins this season, okay? 50. That I think the Clippers and the Warriors play each other, so one of them's got to take a loss. Okay, so they do play each other, right?
And Golden State.
So they both can't get to that number, right?
Right.
They can't.
Right.
We've got the same thing left. Only one of those can get to that number, and so in many cases you are at the mercy of your peers, and that is just not the case here. You're not at the mercy of your peers. Like, if you get to 50 and you have these games in front, you have these 3 games left in front of you, there's that at least one of those teams cannot get to 50. The best they can do is get to 49.
Big headline last night, in addition to everything else, Luka Doncic ejected from the game. He was talking to a fan.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The official thought he was directing at him. It was weird because I was watching the postgame on TNT, and Shaq was almost trying to, Luka's got to be better. And I get that on some level, but he didn't
You can't throw him out of the game.
You cannot do that.
You remember this happened to Ja?
Yes.
Who was that guy? What was his name? Torres? What was the guy's name?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. He got chucked out for yelling at a fan.
Yep.
He was saying something to a fan,
right?
And he got ejected out of the game. So I have seen it before,
right?
Where in fact, it did happen. You remember? And then Ja did like a FaceTime with the lady's phone.
Sure did.
Remember that? That was crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean. It is kind of wild to think about, but I mean, we have actually seen that before, where one of those situations happened where a guy got kicked out for yelling at a fan. But I mean, come on, you have to use discretion when you're, and especially in the fourth quarter of
you
a
have to be able
game.
to go back and change
They were in the game. I mean, maybe they lose it no matter what, but they were in it, and then when he left, it was over.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to be able to go back and be like, hey, this is what really happened here, like, and change that call. You just do.
The funny thing is like, did he yell like "F you" or something? The ref thought it was at him.
That's what it was. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was something like that.
Or how you like that, MF?
Yeah,
so the ref's like,
But they got the camera angle where it actually picks up from over Luka's shoulder, and you can see the ref and you can see the fan. They're all in view. And I just think if you're the official, you have to understand whatever Luka yelled at the fan. You've got to be able to understand that's not directed at you, because it doesn't even make why he wouldn't be asking me how I like a 3-point or whatever.
Well, some of these officials,
yes,
look,
it's just
if they weren't doing that, they'd find something else where they had power.
I know, right? That's exactly right.
And they wanted to,
bro, just stay out of it. Everybody's having fun here. This is what we want to do. Stay out of it.
Do you know I got kicked out of I got kicked out of one of my kids' games one time.
Oh,
you're that parent?
No, and this was not. No, listen to this. You're gonna love this, because I do keep things under control, especially when I'm coaching them, right? I know I'm an example for
my favorite thing about our children in sports is that anytime we share videos, if I share like a video of Louie or Oliver, you don't hear me.
Oh, I cheer.
You don't hear me.
Oh, I get excited.
I'm silent, and then Vernon will send one of Haley or William, and all you hear is Vernon going, "Let's go!"
Yeah,
He's yelling the whole time.
So anyway,
I'm silent parent.
So when I was coaching them, at one point, one of my guys went up for a rebound. He got destroyed. Whatever. Ref comes by, and I was like, "Look, man, come on." And he's like, he looks at me. I said, "My guy got trucked." And he goes, "Out of here!"
Oh my God!
Hey, and I said, "What?" He said, "You can't say that in this gym." And I was like, "What?"
He thought you said something else.
I said, "That doesn't." I said, "You think I said the F word?" And he was like, "You did. I heard it." And I was like, "That wouldn't even make sense." I said it wouldn't even. He's like, "You're out of here." And I was like, "Look, man, let's just be adults about this, all right?" And he was like, "No, you guy threw me out." He threw me out, and I was so embarrassed. I had to walk over and tell the parents. I'm like, "Look, I just said my guy got trucked, and the guy just chucked me out of the game, and he is convinced that I said the F word."
How about this?
I was like, "This is terrible."
2 stories like this. I don't want to put any names on it.
All right.
But there's at some point over the past month or so, like a department head comes in to the studio and is looking for somebody because they think they said something problematic on air, and they want to talk about it and like, hey, and the word was gypsy, and it was like, you can't say that word on the air. Apparently, there's a whole list of things you're not supposed to say.
Did you know that?
I did know this, yes, as of recently.
Is that true?
I don't think you can say that.
Okay.
What's the connotation?
I
don't even know why.
I don't think you're allowed to say anymore.
Like we're not supposed to. We're not even supposed to.
Am I a super prick for not knowing that's offensive to people?
No,
I felt the same.
Okay, I don't know.
But there's a whole it's been brought to our attention. You might say about a basketball player, you'd be like, man, AJ DeBanza, he's a stud. They don't want you saying stud anymore.
Why?
Because a stud is
a horse.
Yeah,
no.
There's just a lot of things you're not supposed to say.
It's not a horse.
You just Google it. But okay, so anyway,
I am so out on this.
Oh, yeah.
I would be the guy that gets in trouble for not knowing I can't say it.
We're all going to jail for saying some word that we thought was fine for 40 years.
What is the gypsy then?
Okay,
and why would you even say it on air?
Okay, so it's just like you can't say, and this person is like, I don't think I said gypsy. What? I don't even know what you're talking about. And like, you cannot say that. And so we got to find it, and we're going to need to just, and it was like, and then the person goes, is it possible I said Taman Lipsey, who plays for Iowa State? And they went back and pulled it in. They thought he was just talking about Taman Lipsy, a basketball player, but it became a thing because somebody heard Gypsy. Same time.
No, I bet what I bet happened? Because I've seen this happen. I bet it came over on the closed caption.
I bet that's it. That's exactly
Yes,
right.
that's what
exactly
happened.
right.
The closed
And somebody
captioning said
flagged it.
Yep.
And then they were like, you got to go talk to him about this. That is exactly what happened.
I guarantee you.
That's
it is.
okay. I had.
Because I've
one-
seen stuff like that happen.
All right, now
before.
listen to this one I had.
Wait, what is the? You guys got to explain this to me.
I genuinely don't
and
know.
our whole audience.
If I knew,
No, that's not fair.
No,
right?
I
You
don't-
didn't look it up. Why that guy came in there, storming in there, saying, "Don't say this."
no, I didn't. I don't know
You
why.
just accepted that.
I just accepted.
I mean, again, I'll just accept that I'm not supposed to say it. I just don't know why.
If I knew why, I would tell you. I don't know why, but there's a reason.
It's mega offensive, huh?
We could all Google it.
It's like you can't say. I don't think you can say midget anymore.
No?
I don't think you're
Like,
allowed.
hey, you for sure can't.
I said you can't say it.
What? Even I know that.
Even Vernon knows
Okay,
that.
I'm sorry.
Even Vernon.
Golly.
Even Vernon knows that.
Jeez,
Cut the
bro.
tape, Jaylen.
Okay,
That's crazy.
that was bananas.
wow.
Bennett.
You trying to get us all
Are
fired?
you want us all to be unemployed?
I'm sorry.
I had one. So at some point this season, we're all in studio. And it was one of those nights where one of the WWE premium live events was on. And there's a few of us in the studio who like wrestling and follow it. So we brought it in on one of the TVs. You know, we got 12 TVs up. And it's like, hey, let's at least put one of them on wrestling. So we're watching wrestling. Do you know the story, Bennett?
No.
Okay. So we're watching wrestling. And DIY, the tag team, they won something, right? And it's just sort of, we're in the studio, and I'm sitting like in the second row, and they've got a whole research team behind me. And keep in mind, we're in New York City. And I just sort of get up to say to one of the other people who watches wrestling, and I get up and I go, man, I hate DIY. And everybody looks at me like, and I get no response whatsoever. And everybody's just sort of staring at me. And I'm like,
They thought you meant DEI.
yes! They thought I just stood up.
Oh my God.
And said, I hate DEI.
We are living on eggshells as a society.
And I said, what do you think? What do y'all think I just said? And they were like, GP. I said DIY, the tag team. I'm talking about wrestling. They were like, oh, GP, we thought that Mississippi was coming out in you. So I know what you've been through.
Dude, that's crazy.
I know what. Hey, you ready for the Masters?
Now I got to go research.
yeah.
You ready for the Masters
I'll
update?
make a list of
ready.
words.
Bro, I'm old now, though. I'm getting nervous. I'm more nervous this year than I have been in the
Don't
past.
pass
Just because
out.
I don't know. I mean, there was a moment last year doing it where I got so lightheaded. I swear. I thought I was about to go. I thought I was about to pass out. I'm not kidding you. I really thought I got so worked up and was hooting and hollering and dancing around, and I could feel the air like not getting to my brain.
This is what Kendrick talks about. You got to get your breathing right.
I know, and I don't.
Kendrick trains for this.
And I'm like, dude, yeah, I don't train.
You don't train like Kendrick.
Literally the opposite.
You don't
of training.
train like Kendrick.
I know, and so now I got so lightheaded last year that I get worried. I mean, it would be funny as hell if I passed out doing it.
I told this story yesterday. I don't know if you heard it.
If I really just
that would be
fell
unbelievable.
out,
That would be unbelievable.
I mean, it'd be great for viral.
You would definitely go viral. I told this story yesterday. I had a speaking engagement in San Antonio on Saturday, just before the national semifinals, like a corporate thing, right? And so you introduce yourself, and then there's Q&A, and eventually it comes up. I live in Memphis. So a guy comes up to me at the end of the thing, and he's like, "Hey, so you live in Memphis, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You follow golf?" I said, "Yeah, of course." He goes, like, "Do you know that guy, Chris Vernon?" I said, "Yeah, of course I do." And he's like, and then and I'm like, "We actually worked together. He's one of my best friends, all that stuff." And he's like, "Dude, I love that guy so much."
Oh my God.
He said, so
That's awesome.
these are the type of corporate people who they go to the Final Four and then they fly straight to Augusta.
Yes.
This is the way they live their lives. And he said at Augusta they have a house and it's just like corporate stuff and parties and every night, and they do not have the Golf Channel on. They don't have ESPN. They have your Masters updates on a loop.
Oh, that's
throughout
crazy.
the house all night long. That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's why, hey, That's why we do it.
That's why you do it.
That's for the people.
That's why we do it.
For some rich guy.
That's why we do it. For the wealthy people on the private planes.
Little kid that has, or some family that's been down on their luck, and the thing that brings them happiness. Instead, you're like, these corporate rich guys that turned it on.
If I can make just one man in a quarter zip smile, then I've done my job.
It's worth me getting lightheaded.
It's worth me getting lightheaded. All right, get over to your big studio.
I'll
see you later.
What I can't say.
Yeah, go figure that out. You got 1 hour to figure out everything you can and cannot say. I can't believe what you said.
I did it.
In fact, I'm walking.
I was just saying.
Of course, you got.
I'm looking at HR right now.
Of course, we live in a world like Elon Musk is on Twitter calling somebody else the R word. The whole world's outrageous, man. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. You know what I'm saying, Bennett? You know what I'm saying? Hey, it sounds like PJ Haggerty's super expensive.
That's what I'm hearing.
Reportedly, he has multiple offers in the $3 million a season range. We'll talk about that next.
Debo traded from San Francisco to the Commanders for a 5th-round pick. There's no other sport where you would get a player of his ilk for a 5th-round pick.
Over under total yards for Debo. If they set it at 1,000, you think he hits that over?
Total yards?
Total yards from scrimmage. Total yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays in the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in. And Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
PJ Haggerty is getting expensive.
It sounds like it.
Oh, buddy, does it ever. Hitman Hoops, the great Hitman Hoops on Twitter, is reporting that PJ Haggerty has multiple offers in the $3 million range. Big Bet Bennett? Are you comfortable with your alma mater spending $3 million on PJ Haggerty?
Yeah, I am. Just because I think it gives you, first off, like one thing that we haven't talked about it is just the, with how college basketball has changed so much. Like the one thing that that I think is missing, especially from just a Memphis basketball aspect, is like, we've over the years had guys that we just like attach to, right? Like that are just guys that are part of the program, that are fan favorites, and you're not seeing that as much in college basketball in general. But it's something that's definitely been prevalent here, but not so much recently. And so I think that's like the biggest thing is not only do you get one of the best players in the country if you bring him back, but you also have something to be excited about going into next season that you're familiar with as a fan base.
To your point, this time last year, how many Memphis fans were familiar with any players who ended up being on Memphis' team?
None. I mean, you knew Nick Jourdain was a role player last year,
but
the year before. Yeah,
we could have been in October of last year, and I could have asked most season ticket holders, who is PJ Haggerty, and they might not have had a good grasp for that.
Right.
So by keeping him, if you're able to keep him, it does exactly what you just suggested. It provides an All-American guard, but also just familiarity, something for fans to get excited about.
You can put on your billboards, like when you're advertising, buy your season ticket package, right? He's back.
I will say, this is where you're about to find out what kind of basketball program you're running in this era of college basketball. Because most indications are that PJ Haggerty isn't necessarily looking to leave Memphis. There are plenty of players in the AAC who can't wait to leave the program they're at.
Right.
If they can find anything better. Quante Berry's a great example of that. He was at Temple. He didn't want to be at Temple. He's from Cleveland, Tennessee. You think you want to be playing at Temple? Of course not. He wanted to be playing at Tennessee, probably. In the SEC, perhaps. Hey, Memphis is better than Temple, so I'm going to Memphis. There's no real indication, far as I know, that PJ Haggerty hates Memphis and can't wait to get out of there.
Yeah, Hitman said in that tweet, too, at the end, that he's not necessarily looking for just the highest offer available.
Right.
But you're going to have to get in that ballpark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one thing to say, I'm not looking for the most money. That doesn't mean money doesn't matter. It just means that money isn't the only thing that matters. And I think that's true can be true for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you. I have turned down jobs before for more money, where if I just said, yes, I'll take this job, I would have been making more money next year than I made in the previous year. Mm-hmm. And I turned that down because that wasn't the most important. Now, I have also taken jobs because it was more money, and I can't pass this up. But I have turned down more money. But it can't be dramatic. It can't be an SEC school's offering $3.2 million and Memphis is offering $2 million. I don't care how much you love Memphis. As a University of Memphis graduate and fan who wants nothing but great things for that university, if somebody offered PJ Haggerty $3.5 million and Memphis said all we can do is $2 million, I would tell PJ Haggerty he has to leave Memphis. I mean, it's something you don't ever get out. He will never have an opportunity to make this kind of money again. Probably. He doesn't project as an NBA player. Certainly not a lottery pick type guy.
Sure.
If he ends up in that league, he'll have to earn it.
Yes.
It won't be because draft analysts are lining up to say he's got to be a top 10 pick. That'll never be his reality. If it was ever going to be his reality, it would be right now. There's only so much you can improve on as a prospect when you are built the way he's built and when you play the way he's played. He's an awesome college basketball player, but the NBA ain't lining up to spend a lottery pick on him. Mm-hmm. If he is really worth $3 million right now, this is probably, not definitely, I never want to put a ceiling on anybody. I mean, there are plenty of people who didn't think Fred VanVleet could play in the NBA, right? Colin Gillespie could play in the NBA. I don't want to put a ceiling on anybody. But what I'm about to tell you is probably true. The most money he'll ever make playing basketball will be next year in college somewhere. And if somebody's offering you 3.5 and the other offer is 2, it is wildly irresponsible to take the 2 instead of the 3.5. So this is where we're about to find out what's real and what isn't. Because, again, there's not a real indication that P.J. Haggerty just has to get out of the AAC. There are plenty of AAC players who are like, I got to get out of this league. Mm-hmm. If I had an SEC offer, I'd go. If I had a Big 12 offer, I'd go. If I had a Big 10 offer, I'd go. He might ultimately want that and take it, but there's no indication that he could wait to capitalize on this incredible season at Memphis so he could get out of Memphis. I never got that sentiment. So for the sake of the conversation, let's just assume that he would like to stay at Memphis if it makes sense. Well, now they have to make it make sense. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it might take $3 million to make it make sense. And this is where you run into a situation where there are plenty of schools that can spend $3 million on one player. Mm-hmm. But they are mostly schools in the Big 10 and the SEC and the Big 12. And Duke and North Carolina, right? Those are mostly the schools that can do that. There is no other AAC school, none, that could spend $3 million on one player. None. All right? Couldn't even think about it. If Yaxel went back to Andy Kennedy and said, I'll stay here if you can get me 3, it's just not even like, you got to go. I've had coaches tell me this, by the way. You ready for this? AAC coaches, A10 coaches. I had an A10 coach tell me that he recruited a kid. Kid was a very good freshman this season and would love to have him back. Would love to have him back. Loves the kid. Loves him as a player. Would kill to have him back in this program. You know what the coach told me? He told the kid, you have to go. I can't touch that money that they're going to offer you. I think he believed the young man was going to get offers around $600,000-$700,000 from power conference schools. And this A10 coach just said, I can't in good conscience tell him not to take it. This is not an NBA player. Mm-hmm. He'll never make $700,000 again playing basketball, ever. But some Big Ten school or Big East school or somebody's going to give it to him right now. So I love you, man, and I love coaching you, but you got to go. This is the real thing that's happening in the league. It doesn't necessarily have to happen in Memphis, but we're about to find out.
We are, and I mean, not to mention too, that we still don't know what's going to happen. I think we all assume that it's likely that Dane Danger played his last game as a Memphis Tiger in the NCAA tournament game. But what if the NCAA approves his waiver? Like, what if he's eligible for another year, and wants to come back?
Well,
you got to pay him. You got to pay him too.
Well, what I mean by we're about to find out is we're about to find out how much money does Memphis really have. To spend on a basketball team. That's what we're about to find out.
I hope a lot.
I know how much money Alabama has to spend on a basketball team, and I know how much money Michigan has to spend on a basketball team, and I know how much money Florida is going to have to spend on a basketball team, and Indiana and Arkansas and Kentucky and Louisville. We're about to find out how much money Memphis has. Mm-hmm. And if it's not as much as those schools, then the next question is it a good way to spend your money to spend $3 million on one player? You want to know what happened at Rutgers this season?
They spent all their money on 2 players and weren't good.
That's exactly right. They spent all of their money. I was told 90% of their NIL went to 2 dudes. So what happened? They sucked. They had 2 awesome NBA prospects who were very good college players. Nothing around them. And the team was no good. If you were to ask Steve Peichel, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? You know what he'd tell you? I'd have picked one of them. Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. We'd have paid one of them. And then we'd have used all the millions we used on the other one to put, instead of spending $3 million on one player or $6 million on 2, I'm making up numbers, don't quote on these, but instead of spending, let's just for the sake of the comment, $3 million on Dylan Harper and $3 million on Ace Bailey, we would have spent $3 million on Dylan Harper and taken that $3 million that we gave to Ace Bailey and bought 4 players for $3 million as opposed to 1 player for $3 million. That type of stuff. And this is the type, if Penny gets to a point where it's like, if we pay P.J. Haggerty $3 million, we don't have enough money to go out and fill the rest of the roster up, then you got to really you got to have an internal conversation. Is this the best use of our money? $3 million for 1 All-American guard, or can we get 3 all-conference level players for the same amount of money? Hard conversations, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But this is where we're at. If you're curious, the transfer portal is open and remains open until April 22nd. As of this moment, P.J. Haggerty has not placed himself in there, but if you ever hear that he does, it will not be blindly. It won't be because he wants to get in there and see what's out there. If you ever see him go into the transfer portal, it'll be because he knows, and I'm certain he already knows, but that'll be an indication he's leaning toward maybe doing it, that there's real money to be made. I trust the reporting. The number's going to be in this range, and he is either going to get the most money Memphis has ever paid for a basketball player, or he's going to take less to stay at Memphis, or he's going to leave Memphis. One of those things is going to have to be true.
Yep.
He's either going to have to get the most money Memphis has ever paid for a basketball player, or he's going to have to take less to stay at Memphis, or he's going to leave Memphis. One of those three things is going to have to be true.
Number 2.
So I debuted the Top 25 in 1, CBSSports.com, yesterday, one day after the national championship game. Posted Tuesday afternoon, Houston, preseason number 1. And before I could even get back from San Antonio, the Cougars had already improved their roster. They secured a commitment from Pop Isaacs, who you may or may not remember, really good guard at Texas Tech for 2 years, then transferred to Creighton. Only played 8 games this season before he had hip surgery in December. But in those 8 games, he shot nearly 40% from 3, averaged 16 points per game. This is theoretically the type of replacement for L.J. Cryer, who is on his way out. So I guess this is what I'm telling you. Even before they added Pop Isaacs yesterday, I had Houston number 1 based on the projected roster. So did John Rothstein, so did George Borzello. Houston has emerged in this moment as a consensus number 1 based on current projections. Now, can Duke pass them? Of course Duke can. Like, Duke is the type of team, if it wanted to, that could throw $4 million at P.J. Haggerty tonight if it wanted to.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So there's always a chance of Duke or Alabama could just go out and buy a team that passes Houston.
Yep.
But right now, Houston has the best roster, and it had it even before they added Pop Isaacs. It is fair to wonder whether this is a precursor to something else, because if you look at Houston's projected starting lineup, it's Milos Uzan.
Mm-hmm.
He's started all this season, so like he ain't going to the bench, all right?
Right.
It is Emmanuel Sharp, started all this season. He ain't going to the bench. And then it's Terrence Arsenault, who has been a come-off-the-bench guy, but with the departure of Malik Wilson and L.J. Cryer would probably move into that starting lineup. But not with Pop Isaacs coming. Now Houston now on its roster right now has 4 starter-level guards. 4 dudes that promise you none of them think they should be coming off the bench. Mm-hmm. So you wonder, do they think they're losing either Uzan or Sharp to the NBA draft? Is it possible Arsenault could get into the transfer portal? I guess I'd be surprised if this is the last movement we see with Houston. They got better yesterday by adding Pop Isaacs, but I won't be shocked if one of the guards who was set to return ultimately decides to either enter the NBA draft or the transfer portal. And what we find out is the addition of Pop Isaacs cost them one of their returning guards, or they went out and got Pop Isaacs because they already knew one of the returning guards was not actually going to return.
Number 3.
So there's a new Minecraft movie coming out. Did you know about this?
It's out now.
It's out now?
Yep.
Okay. What is going on with that?
Do your kids play Minecraft? Do they do that?
They used to. They used to, but now we're more of a Fortnite family.
Okay, so Minecraft's for younger kids, I guess.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've grown out of Minecraft and we have graduated to Fortnite and, give it another 6 or 7 months and we'll be shooting people in Grand Theft Auto.
So this movie is like, it's already like far exceeded their expectations for what it was going to do at the box office. And I think what we're learning is like video games are super popular. And if you put like a video game movie that's a game that a lot of people care about on the screen, they're going to go see it no matter if it's good or not.
Well, that's how we get Mario movies and Sonic the Hedgehog movies and on down the line.
Right. But people are acting crazy at the Minecraft movie screenings.
Crazy trying to create viral videos, I gather.
They're throwing popcorn and drinks and stuff.
Well, I don't like that.
Yeah, they're acting crazy.
I don't like that. I don't like nothing about that.
And a lot of yelling.
I don't like that either.
Okay, so I don't either. But I will say, I do think that this Sean Fennessy, who does the Big Picture podcast for the Ringer, he was talking about why this movie is so good for movie theaters right now. And it's because, like, these kids are just, now it's word of mouth. Like, my kid wants to see, he's never played Minecraft, but, like, all his friends at school are talking about Minecraft.
Right.
And so it's like, we got to go see the Minecraft movie, right? And people want to, we talked last or the week before about, like, phones at movie theaters and things like that. And wow, we're against it, whatever. Fine. But I do think there is something to this celebratory experience for a certain type of movie in the movie, like Wicked, for example. Remember when Wicked, people were like singing in the theaters and stuff, and they had to say, hey, stop singing. I think they even did some screenings that were like sing-along screenings. And I wonder if, like, because I'm not trying to take my kid to the Minecraft movie and get popcorn thrown at me.
I don't want popcorn thrown at me.
I don't want popcorn thrown at me.
Particularly because it could have butter and then we're greasy. I don't want to be greasy.
I've thrown popcorn before. Don't get it twisted.
Why would you throw popcorn?
Oh, I mean, we were young once upon a time. You never thrown popcorn at someone at the movie theater?
I don't remember doing that, no.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm alone in that.
Yeah.
Jaylen said
Jaylen says no. Ben, this might have just been
a shirt.
This might just, it sounds like it. Like throwing popcorn.
Well, now I've matured and I like a calm movie theater experience with no phones.
I like a calm movie theater experience as well.
Yeah.
I also like a calm dinner. I like calm bars. Everything calm. I want everything to be calm.
But I think that this, like, there's something to movies like this having a place in the movie going experience, and like maybe they could do something like, what if you set up screenings that was like, this is for ages 5 to
just tell me what I'm getting into. That's what I want to know. You got to tell me what I'm getting into. Am I going to watch a movie in peace, or am I going to watch a movie with people throwing popcorn and trying to make viral videos? Could we do a this is the wild screening at 2:00 on a Friday. We're gonna do the wild screening where you can throw popcorn. Who cares? That stuff gets thrown everywhere anyways. Tell me what's going on. Kids are going to this movie and they're trying to create viral videos, and by doing that, it creates a rowdy scene
of throwing popcorn.
Okay,
and
here's what I think.
Yelling.
Here's what I think as an old man.
Yep.
All right. As an old man, here's what I think. So don't call me old in the chat, because I just told you I'm old. I've acknowledged it up front. Here's where I'm at on all this going viral stuff and content creators. Do your thing, as long as it doesn't impose on me.
Mm-hmm.
Create until you can't create no more. But once you make me a part of it, now we're out of line. And what I mean by that is none of this stuff has ever happened to me. I've never
been caught up in a viral video situation.
I've never been caught up in any of this stuff, but I see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like standing at baggage claim. You're waiting on your bags, and some teenager or, person in their 20s trying to create content walks up and grabs your bag and just starts walking out and makes you chase after your own bag. Well, that's not funny. You're like, I just got off of a flight. I'm tired. I'm ready to get home. And I got to chase a 19-year-old around to get my bag? Like, that's not funny. You should go to jail.
I think I'm with you on that.
All right.
Or at least get punched in the face.
I'm riding up an escalator with my wife. Mm-hmm. You're riding down, and you slap her butt on the way by.
Well, that's assault, brother.
To create a viral moment. Well, that's not cool. You just that's wildly inappropriate, and you're out of line. You should be punched. I probably won't punch you because I'm not a fighter, and I don't need to be on, WREG. But you deserve it. That's not funny. Create your videos however you want to, but once you've done anything that makes me have to be a part of it, outrageous. I see these sometimes. They'll be like walking around stores, slapping people in the back of the head. Ha! And then if somebody says, "Yo, man, what?" And then they're like, "I'm just playing around." No,
you're not.
No, kill that person.
Yeah.
Every time I see that video, I am rooting for the. I am rooting.
Get beat up. I have to.
I am rooting for murder.
Yes.
I want somebody to die.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and not die. Like pay a price for that.
Yeah.
So that we understand going forward, this is not okay anymore. I told you I was old. I said it up front. I'm out on. I don't like those. I don't have a place in that. So this is similar. I got no problem with kids going to movies and having fun. But if I'm in a movie theater and people start throwing popcorn around in the spirit of trying to make a viral video, well, now you're disrupting my experience. You're out of line. Now I'm ready for you to die.
And that's why what my idea is we take this and we create like these special screenings. You could even do it at the drive-in. We talked about how we need to save the drive-in.
We do
have
need to
a
save the drive-in.
Minecraft screening at the drive-in, and you could throw popcorn and act crazy and scream and yell and get out your phone and act wild. And then we can monetize this craziness.
Bennett, you got a lot of good ideas. Bennett's got a lot of good ideas. Bennett, you got a lot of wonderful ideas, Bennett. I appreciate all your ideas. I don't care what's going on. I just don't want to be a part of it.
Okay.
All right? So you can acknowledge up front, hey, this is going to be a theater where we're throwing popcorn, and it's allowed. And if you don't want popcorn on you, don't come inside. Fine with me. I won't come inside. But if I think I'm going to a normal movie and there's a bunch of 6-year-olds throwing popcorn, yeah, that's a problem.
Doesn't sound great.
That doesn't sound great.
I might ask for a refund.
That's a real problem. I would start rooting for those people's death.
Yeah, wow.
I just find myself sometimes rooting for death. Sometimes I root for death, Bennett. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I root. Sometimes I root for death. So, here's the truth. If you want to know the truth, I ain't going to no Minecraft movie. It ain't gonna have nothing to do with me.
I will. No, so, we'll go soon.
I don't care.
Number 4.
The women's Final Four ratings have been finalized. They're now cemented. You know, the initial ratings come in and then they change as more data materializes, and now we have all the data. And I got some good news, Bennett. Second most watched women's Final Four in history. That's what we just watched, culminating with UConn's victory over South Carolina. Second most in history. Sounds good, doesn't it? But down 64% from last year, which was the most watched in history because of the presence of Caitlin Clark. And it's just another way to illustrate that everybody last year who tried to act like she wasn't the secret to everything, anybody who tried to diminish the role she played or discount it or try to act like anybody else mattered to any sort of meaningful degree, you were all just crazy. You didn't know what you're talking about. She is the star. She does not have a co-star. She's the star. There is no co-star. Angel Reese was never a co-star. Angel Reese is a character in the story. She's a supporting actress, perhaps, if this were a movie. But if women's basketball is a movie, I'm sorry, all the data's in. Caitlin Clark is the star, and she is the biggest star by a wide margin. There are other stars. There are other awesome players, but there is nobody close to her. And this Final Four that we just watched is a perfect illustration of that. You had the two biggest brands.
Right.
South Carolina and UConn. You had the two GOATs, Dawn Staley and Gino Auriemma. You had the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft in Paige Beckers. And they couldn't come close to what they did last year with Caitlin Clark. Down 64% from where they were this time last year. WNBA ratings, same type of thing. Games with Caitlin Clark, incredible numbers. Games without her, not nearly as much. I said it as we were watching it unfold. It remains true today and undeniable. There is nobody who means more to any sport in this world than Caitlin Clark means to women's basketball. I don't know exactly how we got here. I'll let everybody debate that if they want to. Why is this true? How did it become true? What does it say about our country? Y'all can have all those conversations if you want to. Just know that it is undeniably true. There is nobody who means more to her sport or his sport than Caitlin Clark means to women's basketball. LeBron James does not mean the same to men's basketball. Neither does Kevin Durant, neither does Steph Curry. Patrick Mahomes does not mean the same thing to the NFL. The NFL is a monster with Patrick Mahomes, without Patrick Mahomes. The NBA is exactly what it is with LeBron James, without LeBron James. Major League Baseball is what it is with Shohei Ohtani, without Shohei Ohtani. Women's basketball is a massive thing with Caitlin Clark and something dramatically less anytime she's not involved. Whether it's on a game-to-game basis in the WNBA or one college season to the next. You put Caitlin Clark in the Final Four last season, record numbers. You take her out of it, even when you've got South Carolina, UConn, Gino, Dawn, Paige Beckers, the whole deal, down. Massive, massive numbers, even though it was still the second most watched we've ever seen.
Number 5.
History was made last night in minor league baseball.
What's going on? Did you say minor league baseball?
Sure.
Oh, wow. What's going on in the minor leagues?
You don't know nothing about the Dunedin Blue Jays.
I don't.
You don't know about the Dunedin Blue Jays?
I don't think I do.
They drew 22 walks last night.
Okay.
In an obvious victory.
Yeah.
And that is the most walks any baseball team has ever drawn in the history of minor league baseball.
How about that?
22. This is a professional baseball game. By definition.
Yes.
How does nobody have... How can you have a whole team of professional baseball players, nobody can throw a strike? Like, this is a problem in 9-year-old baseball.
Who was the opponent?
Well, it was the Dunedin Blue Jays. This was in the Florida State, in the Jupiter Hammerheads.
Okay.
The Jupiter Hammerheads had nobody who could throw a strike. This is a problem in 9-year-old baseball.
What the hell's Jupiter?
Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Jupiter, Florida, Bennett.
I'm not even familiar. I don't think I was familiar with Jupiter, Florida.
Spring training, always. There's people who have...
Is that where they do it? I thought they did it in Sarasota.
Well, there's all sorts of places, but Jupiter would be a place.
Okay.
Spring training baseball happens in Jupiter, Florida.
Gotcha.
It's a sunny place, probably warm. So they were playing the Jupiter Hammerheads, and the Jupiter Hammerheads walked 22 batters. How do you not have... Who can't throw strikes?
I mean, you're literally in a place where pros play. Like literal Major League Baseball players. You get to watch them with your own eyes.
These are professional baseball players, what I'm telling you.
No, that's what I'm saying.
These people get paid to play baseball, and they can't throw a strike.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Literally never had... Think about all the minor league baseball games. 22? Throw a strike. I'd be embarrassed if my 9-year-old...
Shout out to the Blue Jays. I mean, clearly they had the right game plan.
Maybe they got a good eye. Maybe they just had a good eye at the plate. Maybe we should credit their eye at the plate.
Yeah.
As opposed to come down hard on the Jupiter Hammerheads for not being able to throw a strike. Either way, weird game. And that's all we're going to say about minor league baseball today.
Okay. I thought I was going somewhere else.
No, there's nowhere else to go.
No, that's pretty wild. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah,
that was as far as I could take it. Let's be back with GP's carryout.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
By King. Wheels through the lane, now spins back. Ja hangs, puts it in! Oh, what a shot by Morant in the clutch! So hot. Oh, Jerry says no! Because he doesn't put on a play, comes up with a monster block.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe Award-winning superstar, Mary J. Blige, live in Memphis. The For My Fans Tour, live at FedEx Forum Saturday, April 19th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige, for one night only.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio. Look at FedEx Forum out there. It looks nice. Nice to be here.
It's good to have you back, man.
Man, I'm going to get home. I'd be lying if I told you I settled in. I didn't get home until after midnight last night. It's a long travel day for me yesterday. San Antonio just ain't the easiest place to get back and forth from when you live in Memphis.
Yeah.
I had to fly the wrong way. I went to Atlanta. And then back to so I on the way to San Antonio,
Yeah,
I flew
it's like
I flew to Atlanta and then flew back over Memphis to get to and then San Antonio. I flew all the way to Atlanta and then got to come back to Memphis. I could change airlines, but I'm loyal to Delta. I'm more of a Southwest guy. It does occur to me sometimes as I'm connecting. Most of my flights again are just back and forth to New York direct. It's fine, but I can't tell you how many times I do fly to Atlanta the wrong direction. Like I'm going to California and I fly to Atlanta first.
Yeah.
And it has occurred to me sometimes I could save hours of travel time if I would just sit in 17D on a Southwest flight.
You've built too much of a... You got too many points, man. You built too many points, bro.
But here's the truth. This is the honest to God truth. I would rather spend an extra 90 minutes or 2 hours traveling the way that I travel on Delta as opposed to traveling the other way. It's just, I just sort of, I don't even think about, this could be shorter if I did it the other way. I don't even think about it. I'm
with you.
I have convinced myself, this is really the way it works in my head. I know there are better, quicker ways to get places, but I don't even consider them. I act like they're not even options.
Yeah.
I tell myself the only way to get to San Antonio for me is to do it this way.
Yeah,
and I do it that way.
Like the only car that I've ever driven or owned was a Jeep, and I can't imagine myself driving anything else ever. Like I don't think I could do it.
You don't think you could drive something other than a Jeep?
No, it's just it's a loyalty thing. I like the feel. My body's used to it.
People get
your body's used to those Delta seats.
My body's used to the Delta seats.
Yeah.
For me though, in all seriousness, I can check up to 3 bags for free. So it's the cost. If I go try to check 3 bags on a different airline, that costs you $150 just right there. So, and then you got the Sky Clubs. Some people hate traveling. I actually enjoy the experience because of how nice it is for me when I fly on Delta. So I just do it. And if it takes an extra 2 hours, it takes the extra 2 hours. But here's my point. It did cause me to not get home till after midnight last night. So I'm a little tired. The suitcase hadn't even been touched. But over the next day or two, I'm going to settle back in at home.
Good.
And start learning what it's like to live in the greater Memphis area again. I don't really know what it's like to live here.
We missed you, man.
I don't know where to eat. Where do people eat around here?
Oh, we got some spots.
Yeah.
There's some spots, yeah.
I mean, it is true. I have spent more nights in New York City this year than I have Memphis or Hernando or wherever. That's a fact. If you just count the days, there are more days in New York City than there are here. But it's over for now.
Good.
It's over for now. Like they say about the Final Four, Bennett, the road ends here. That's what they say at the Final Four.
The road ends here, yes.
And that means something to me. When I'm walking around the Alamo Dome the other night, I see that sign that says the road ends here. And I take that literally.
It means something.
It means something to me. It makes my heart flutter. Let's do GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but I think my favorite thing is teaching Bennett that the Hammerheads aren't from a planet called Jupiter.
No.
They're actually from Jupiter, Florida. The only way I know Jupiter, Florida is because of minor league baseball. Trivia time!
Okay.
there are 2 MLB franchises who hold spring training in Jupiter, Florida at the Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium.
Well, I would assume the Mets.
Nope.
Oh, the Florida Marlins.
Miami Marlins.
The Miami Marlins. God, what? Florida Marlins. Come on.
It's fine.
And the Tampa Bay Rays.
Nope.
And the Toronto Blue Jays.
I will tell you this, Bennett. There are some young men who play baseball just down the street.
St. Louis Cardinals.
And they spent time in Jupiter, Florida this spring training because they are in the St. Louis Cardinals
there you go.
organization. The Marlins and the Cardinals, they call Jupiter, Florida home each spring. Maybe we'll get down there sometime, Bennett.
Okay,
You
yeah.
never know. You never know.
What's today's biggest game?
Bennett, we have rooting interest tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Let me tell you who we're rooting for tonight.
Yep.
Tonight, Bennett, you and I, we will be rooting for the Sacramento Kings. Because at 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN, it will be the Sacramento Kings against the 47-32 Denver Nuggets, who just fired their coach. Grizzlies and Nuggets fighting for the same spots in these Western Conference standings. Denver's 3.5-point favorite on the road. Totals 234.5. Doing it at the Golden One Center. How you going to act?
Kings on a 3-game win streak. You know, I don't think the key. So, like, when we look at the play-in tournament and everything, like, I think we said, so whoever ends up in 7 and 8, that's a viable playoff team that's fighting for that playoff spot, right?
Sure.
And then we look at 9 and 10, and we're like, are those really like playoff teams, or are those just lowly Western Conference teams that happen to be in the play-in tournament?
Well,
I think Sacramento.
Like the Mavericks are like they're
lowly.
I mean, that's nothing.
They're lowly.
They don't even want. This is going to come down to.
I think the Kings are a bit of a tweener. I think they're right.
You think they're a tweener?
I think
they're not the Mavericks, but they're not the Grizzlies or the Timberwolves.
I think sometimes
or the Nuggets or the Warriors.
I think sometimes they're a lowly Western Conference team that just happens to be in the play-in. But right now, I think they're looking more and more like a potential playoff team.
I'll tell you what the NBA wants.
Not Sacramento.
They want, however this shakes out, get the Mavericks out of here.
Yes.
And get the Kings out of here. And have 1 through 8 be the Thunder, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies, Timberwolves in some order.
No question.
That is what they want. And honestly, that is probably what they will get.
I will take the Kings.
We have to take the Kings. What are you talking about, you will? We have to. We'll have a choice.
And the Nuggets, they just fired their coach. They're struggling. Like, we can't. Come on, Kings.
But what I'm trying to say is we can't spend our Wednesday night rooting for the Nuggets. We need the Nuggets to die.
Right.
We need the Nuggets to die.
I'm ready to acknowledge the Sacramento Kings is no longer a lowly Western Conference team that happens to be in the play-in tournament. I want to acknowledge them as a potential playoff contender.
You know what? Every once in a while, Bennett, we sit over here in Memphis, Tennessee, we start feeling sorry for ourselves. Like, I thought we were supposed to be this and that. Now Oklahoma City's this and that. You know who was supposed to be something just a few years ago? The Kings.
That's right.
Look at where they're at now.
Fox, Sabonis.
They were like they were trying to take it somewhere. Now look, they're a mess.
Look at them now.
Let's go Kings though. Can we go Kings tonight?
Light the beam.
Light the beam. Kings plus 3.5. The Nuggets must go down.
Yep.
Yep.
What are we watching on TV?
Okay, I promise I'm not going to talk about this every day, but I finally did, true to my word, watch season 3 finale of The White Lotus last night.
Where would you rank it
on my plane
among seasons 1 through 3?
I'm never good at doing that because I genuinely can't remember how season 1 ended. I genuinely do not remember how season 1 ended.
Okay.
Was season 1 the one with Sydney Sweeney?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember how it ended. I just don't. I mean, I could go read it and I'd be like, oh yeah, of course, I remember. But right now, I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember.
If you
how
ask me right now,
too.
how did season 1 end? I have no recollection of it.
Who died in season 1?
I have no idea.
Wait, why can't I remember that? Now I'm concerned that I'm having like.
Let me see here.
Mental issues or something.
Season 1.
Why can't I remember
Lotus.
who died in season 1?
I can barely remember who's in season 1. Let's see here.
Who was it? It wasn't the couple that was having the marriage issues because they got back together.
I remember nothing about it.
And that whole family. Remember the dad found out about his dad. Remember he found out about his dad and what he was into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that guy's face.
Yes. Steve Zahn.
Yeah. Now I see his face.
Yes.
But I don't remember.
Connie Britton was his wife. But who died?
Let me tell you something. Can I tell you something I don't like about myself? Let me tell you something I don't like about myself.
Uh-huh.
I do not retain television shows and movies. I don't retain them. I watch them and I enjoy them, but I can't, and I can talk to you about them right there in the moment. But I can't 2 years later talk to you about them. I don't carry that around with me. Like, if you asked me right now just to break down season 1 of Severance, I wouldn't be able to do it, even though I watched every episode of it and season 2 as well. But I don't really remember season 1, like what happened and what didn't happen. Why do you retain stuff like that?
Not really.
Like, I just watched.
Like The Last of Us comes back this weekend.
I had no idea
rewatch
what happened in The Last of Us.
I had to rewatch season 1.
I always have to go back and read I go to Wikipedia and I read the synopsis of like season 1.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go back and read every episode just so I have an idea of what's going on, because I don't remember it. So I don't remember what happened. And here's what I think. Because I gather people were disappointed with the season finale. People didn't love it. Do you know that?
I did kind of see that, yep.
It feels like people didn't love it. So I went into it expected to be disappointed. And I don't think it was a home run, but I didn't think it was terrible.
I liked it. I thought it was really good.
The only thing I will say about it, and I'm not going to spoil anything, so don't worry about that, but every big thing that happened in the episode, like, this is the way the White Lotus seasons go. It's like all season you're waiting. They sort of show you, the formula of the White Lotus is they show you at the very beginning, man, shit's going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
They show you that at the very beginning. Shit's going to hit the fan, and then they back you up a few weeks or whatever, and then you build toward the shit hitting the fan, but you don't really know how you're going to get there or what it's going to mean.
I remember what happened in season 1.
Ahead,
it
Bennett.
Just came to me.
All right.
Can I spoil it? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think you can.
Remember the guy that's like the concierge or whatever at the hotel? The gay gentleman with the mustache?
Yeah, and he had to
He broke into the guy's the guy's hotel
took a dump.
room. Yep.
And took a doo-doo.
He
doo-dooed.
And then
Did he doo-doo?
And then he got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Now I remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I remember liking that.
Yeah.
I think I remember thinking that was good.
Yes.
Every big thing that happened in the season finale of The White Lotus is something I had already read somewhere else. Like throughout the season. There's always, because it's the internet, like theories. Where is this going? After episode 4, where do we think this is going? And people would have theories on it.
Yeah.
Every big thing that happened in it, I had read somewhere. I won't say any more than that, but every big thing that happened had been theorized.
Gotcha.
As the season was unfolding. Somebody somewhere had snuffed out basically every big thing that happened. So there was nothing that totally surprised me. Not a single thing that happened was like, oh my God, I never even thought about this, because I had read somewhere somebody suggesting they think this is where it's going. But still, I thought it was an enjoyable 90 minutes of television. Like, I was never bored watching it.
I liked it. It's a great show.
That's the most basic compliment I can give any television show. While I was watching it, I wasn't bored. While I was watching it, I wasn't waiting for it to be over. While I was watching it, I wasn't on the verge of stopping because I wanted to do something else. I just turned it on and I watched it and I said, I'm having a good time watching a television show. And then it was over. Will it win all the awards? I don't know. I thought it was fine. It wasn't, how about this? It wasn't as bad as the people who insisted it was bad said it was.
I agree.
At least not in my opinion. And if you want to watch it, you can, or you don't have to. It's up to you.
What's the best thing we've read?
Over at CBSSports.com right now, Adam Finkelstein, my colleague, who is the lead recruiting analyst for 24/7 Sports, has updated the class of 2025 rankings. And this is notable, like big headline, because they removed A.J. Devanza as the number one player in the class.
Okay.
And replaced him with Darren Peterson, who is going to Kansas. I have not seen Peterson nearly as much as I've seen Devanza. But I've seen Devanza up close, sat and talked with him for 20 minutes, did a story on him a couple of years ago. From the first time I saw him, I was like, just tell me what draft he's going to be in. And that's the number one pick.
This seems like blue blood biased.
Could be blue blood biased.
I think it's blue blood
biased. There is a such thing as blue blood bias. That's a real thing out there.
Yeah.
I would never accuse my colleague and friend Fink of blue blood bias, but that is a real thing that exists. I'm being serious, by the way. There was a time where, and maybe it still exists, you would see like some player, he'd be ranked 44th in the country. He'd commit to Duke, and when the rankings update, he's 14th. You know?
Yeah.
That kid, he's 73rd. Well, Kentucky just offered. Maybe he's 43rd.
You're right.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Oh, this kid here, he's 16th. Yeah, well, he's going to Memphis. Yeah, let's put him down to 28. That kind of stuff. That's a real thing. That's a real thing that people have said have been out there for forever. So perhaps this is it. I don't think so, though. By all indications, Peterson's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. If he's really better than AJ Devanza, the top of that 2027 draft, 26 draft?
26,
yeah. Is going to be awesome because those two are both absolute monsters. That's your big headline today. Darren Peterson up to number 1, class of 2025. AJ Devanza down to number 2. They'll both play in the Big 12 next season. Peterson at Kansas, Devanza at BYU.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Thursday. Mike Wallace will join me, Grind City Media. We'll get ready for Timberwolves in town. Big game.
Big game. They're giving these away at the game.
Show it to me, Bennett. Show it to me
I
there.
had to get these. I love these things.
All right, man.
Make some noise.
Yeah, let's make some noise.
They light up. I think I broke the thing. Oh, that one's lighting up.
Okay, Bennett.
Yeah.
Okay.
My kids love these, and they broke the ones that we got last night.
And they'll break
Carly
those
or
too.
anyone listen, can I have another pair? My kids broke the other ones.
Yeah, that's what the marketing department's for, just to give your kids stuff to break.
I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, we do get to every once in a while take home some cool, little fun stuff to our kids, don't we?
Dude, that Jaren hoodie was sick. The Slam hoodie?
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. And obviously, my kids, they just like the flags and stuff.
Yeah.
They want the, stuff that, I like the Jaren hoodie. That was for the adults.
I hope everybody gets their little red banger things.
Go Grizz!
Tomorrow night, red banger things. That's what I call them. I'm sure they have a proper name.
Red banger things.
I call them red banger things. Tomorrow night, red banger things will be available inside FedEx Forum. Grizzlies, Timberwolves. Massive game. Tickets, grizzlies.com. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good, rep your hood.